DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts.
This is me pretending to talk. I hate Scrooge more than you ever could. Peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots. Vegetables. Sorry guys, Magica said she's not interested.
Not interested in what?
Nothing. You're obviously very busy here. Just all of Scrooge's enemies, led by his greatest rival, me, are taming up to...
Take out his family and get our grim vengeance on Clan McDuck. And then we shall return here and declare war against the day manager and all children with birthdays!
Dispel! What did we say about declaring magical war on children?
Not to. I could not be more in.
Ah, blind petty revenge. That's what family's all about. Speaking of family, let's go end Scrooges!
You guys, our family is awesome.
It's the week of Monday, November 4th, and you're listening to episode 84 of DuckTalks. Man, I'm getting better at that. Nailed it. Episode 84, we're almost there to that magical 85. There's nothing special about episode 85. I don't know why I said that, but it's exciting to be here. We took a little bit of time off, and we're back ready to talk about an episode, maybe 2 episodes of DuckTales, because, I mean, honestly, all these episodes hit so long ago, we've got to cover them a little bit quicker. We're getting too far from when they aired. We're ready to go, ready to talk about all this great Duck news that we didn't even know we had until we started putting notes together. It's a great time to be a DuckTales fan, even though we're still in the midst of a hiatus. We're not going to dwell on that. My name's Mitch. I'm one of your hosts. Thank you for listening, and I've got Pirate Steven and Josh with me.
Ahoy there.
Hey guys, what's happening? You didn't introduce our other person.
I'm going to. I was going to after. It's just whenever you say what's happening, I always think you're talking to me, and I know you're not.
I am. I'm talking to all you guys. I'm talking to everybody.
Everybody out there.
Everybody
out there.
Well, guys, like Josh just said, because I don't know if I'm going to edit that out or not, I may leave it in there. We have a guest joining us tonight. And this is going to be a lot of fun because we have Lisa joining us. Now, Lisa, we've interacted online and specifically over on her Discord. She's been involved over there. So we want to welcome Lisa to DuckTalks.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm a huge fan of DuckTales. I got into it when Disney XD first aired the reboot. I believe it was like August 12 or it was August something. and they aired the first episode. They aired the pilot episode for 24 hours and I watched it multiple times that day. Oh my gosh, I am very obsessed with DuckTales right now.
It's a good time to be obsessed with DuckTales.
Man, I feel like there's all kinds of merchandise and stuff coming out all the time. It's crazy. Not for the new show, for the legacy stuff, but I mean that's all kind of spurred on by the new show.
Right, yeah. Who knows if the classic stuff would have been released if it wasn't for the new interest in everything Disney Duck related from the new DuckTales.
So, Lisa, did you find out about DuckTales before it aired, or did you just catch a promo for it on Disney XD? How'd you find out about the show?
I believe through the internet, I found out that there was going to be a reboot, but also through watching Disney XD as well, because I just watch a lot of shows on Disney XD. Like Pokemon airs on there, and they are a lot of different animated shows, and I love animation in general. So it was basically for me, it was both the internet and Disney XD itself.
Pokemon's on Disney Channel?
On Disney XD. There's a lot of shows on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have a subscription to it anymore, but I know back when we had it, there was a lot of Marvel shows and shows that I feel like kind of came about after Pokemon became big. Like it's kind of the influence of some of those other shows that are on Disney XD.
Yeah, I believe they have a lot of I believe they have Pokemon, Beyblade, and Inazuma 11. They have some other. They have all kinds of like anime on that air on Disney XD. But I mostly I was a huge. I'm still a huge fan of like Doraemon, but they stopped airing that, and then I just started watching Pokemon when they brought that in. But yeah, Disney XD, they do air anime, which is not something that a lot of people know. But now I've kind of gotten back into cartoons with the DuckTales reboot. So
tell us a little bit about that fandom. I mean, did you know the previous shows, the Legacy, the Disney Afternoon? Did you watch those shows? And what is it about the show that appeals to you now?
Oh gosh, I remember watching DuckTales when I was a kid. I must have been like, gosh, it was like 8 or 9 years old, and I was the middle child. So me and my siblings, we would watch the Disney afternoon shows, and I have very vague memories of catching DuckTales live on TV. So I'm not exactly sure which episodes I saw live, but what I remember the most about the original DuckTales is a VHS tape that we had. It had 2 or 3 episodes on it. One of them was the original Terraformians episode. And oh my gosh, I loved that episode so much. I would watch that episode over and over when I was little. And I think it also had the Status Seeker on it. And another episode that I remember a lot, which may have also been on the same VHS tape, was Master of the Djinn, where Scrooge and Gomgold, they wanted to get this lamp, and actually there is a reference to this in the reboot, but like they climb the tower and they try to get the genie lamp, but they both tie. So, and then there's like this contest to see who would get ownership of the genie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes from the original series as well. And just, I have a lot of nostalgia just from watching those episodes as a kid. So when the reboot came out, I was really excited about it. And then it's just, oh my gosh, I was just blown away by how well made and how well written the reboot is.
It's so unique from the source material, like the legacy material. We're not going to call it source, but legacy material. And yet it has all those little Easter eggs that just makes you enjoy it and chuckle when you think back to the not old shows, but the original shows.
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh, I really enjoy the Easter eggs, and I would not imagine that a reboot would be this good. But they do such a great job. The voice acting, the story, the characters, everything. It's so well made. And in fact, I've recommended the DuckTales reboot to 2 or 3 of my coworkers, and one of them, which is one of my coworkers who was a good friend of mine, I watched DuckTales with her on my lunch break. So it's just such a great show.
That's how you do it. If you can't convince them to watch it, just start playing it right there. It's the best way to do it. I agree. I've done that to coworkers. Now you recently set about on you did a project that you just completed. It's out there online for folks to check out, fans of the show. It was really cool. You shared it with us and let us know that when it became available for people to download. You want to tell everyone a little bit about that?
Yes. So my friend and I discovered that that Minecraft. Okay. So everyone, I'm sure everyone has heard that there was a DuckTales adventure map released for Minecraft, and my friend discovered that it has a lot. She has this adventure map for Minecraft, and she discovered that it has a lot of the BGM, the background music from the DuckTales reboot. So, and we were thinking about how cool it would be if we could somehow get a hold of that music and just release it in a soundtrack for everyone to hear, because the DuckTales reboot has a really beautiful score and done by Dominique Lewis, and it's just most of the time you can't really hear it because the characters are talking over it. But so my friend has the as I said, she has the DuckTales adventure map for Minecraft, and she was able to get the music from the game and rip that, and then I named the titles. I actually named all the titles, and we released an unofficial soundtrack. Oh, and also there one of our other friends, he helped encode the music and like not transfer, that's not the right word. He helped convert the files to the proper format so that everyone would be able to listen to them. And it's just, this soundtrack was basically a labor of love. We did it for the fans and for all the DuckTales fans out there in the community to be able to hear the background music and just really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone will enjoy it as much as we do. And if you download the soundtrack, there is a README file in there, and it lists like all the different episodes that are used that in the game, that they have all the episodes that they used music from. It goes up to Nothing Can Stop Della Duck. So everything from episode 1, Woo, up to Nothing Can Stop Della Duck.
And it's background music from the Minecraft game, so you can just kind of put in your headphones while you're working on something and listen to the music kind of as your background. I'm imagining, artists being able to use it as inspiration. It's just a great opportunity for fans to be able to enjoy it further. So we'll make sure we include a link, the link that you provided in the show notes, so people can check it out and listen to it. And I think those type of fan projects are pretty cool.
Yes, and my friend who worked on it with me, she and I were both huge fans of Scrooge McDuck, but you can follow her on Twitter. If you want, her handle is derpso123.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in checking it out. I haven't listened to any of it yet, so I just literally found out about it not too long ago. So I'm really excited to check it out.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear that. It just warms my heart that people are actually interested in listening to the music from DuckTales, and it's just I love background music from my favorite shows. And that is just one of my favorite things, is like I'll watch reruns of DuckTales on TV, and it's just, oh my gosh, I just love the background music so much.
Yeah, there's something about some of those familiar tunes that just kind of hits that nostalgia mark perfectly. And now, Pirate, we need an update on this game. You're the only one of the three of us who own it, but have you got to play it yet, or have the boys pretty much?
No, my kids don't let me play.
Have you got to watch them play?
They tell me about it. I'll be driving, and they're telling me about these cool things they're doing in the game and how it's like the show, and I have to go off of that. But
so, do you try to stay spoiler free for it?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to delete their progress so that I can start from the beginning. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that we'll have a Switch in our house maybe in December, toward the end of December, hopefully, and I'm sure that will be a purchase.
Yeah, it's you can probably get the game for around, $30 for the base Minecraft game, and then you have to buy the expansion on that. You might be able to find a good deal on Black Friday for Minecraft, but we'll let everybody know if we see one.
Yeah, that'd be a great purchase if we can find a deal on that. So let's take a look at some news items that we have. Actually, there's not a whole lot other than some Duck merch releases and Disney Plus, maybe a convention. Before we get into that, the top news item is that DuckTales 2017 Season 1 and most of Season 2 have been pulled from DisneyNow. Now, I don't know that this should be unexpected. As much as I was surprised when I first read it, my immediate reaction after that was, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense, because Disney Plus comes out in just a couple of weeks. We're down to like 8 days now at the time of this recording. And we've had this happen before with the DuckTales episodes. They've disappeared for a short time, maybe when a new season's getting ready to air, or maybe I think when that DVD released, the episodes might have disappeared for a short time too, during Season 1. But anyway, I would imagine they're going to show back up eventually. But with Disney Plus coming out, Disney wants everybody who's interested in these shows to consider Disney Plus, and maybe that would be your deciding factor, help push you over to going ahead and getting a subscription, since Season 1 has been confirmed for the release of Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's very weird that they didn't release all of the September episodes eventually on DisneyNow, free for all. We got all the way through Typhoon as episodes that anybody could watch. I would check every now and then for one of the episodes that we're talking about tonight, GlomTales, but we never got the whole show for free for everybody that wants to see it. Very well, the explanation could be Disney Plus is coming out obviously next week, and let's get some more people to subscribe to that, as many as we can. But I'm looking forward to everybody. I want more people to see the finale and see how the season ended that aren't subscribers.
There are currently 3 episodes of Season 2 on DisneyNow. And I say that I haven't checked tonight. I haven't checked to see if there's any added. But the Season 2 premiere, The Most Dangerous Game Night, The Depths of Cousin Feathery, and The Ballad of Duke Baloney are the 3 episodes that were up the last time I checked. So it looks like we're starting at the beginning of Season 2. I'm wondering if they're going to add an episode every week or every few days or something. But for those of us who are behind on the ending, I mean, I've seen them all, but it's been a little while since I've seen. Before I worked things out, it had been a while since I had seen GlomTales and The Richest Duck. Actually, full disclosure, The Richest Duck, I don't know that I got to sit down and see all of it at one time until today.
Does that mean you're going to do the 30-second recap of The Richest Duck?
Pretty sure I've already said it to be you.
Oh.
Yeah, we've already had that private conversation through text messages.
Now, the episodes are available for purchase on iTunes and Amazon and probably some other places that I probably should have checked. Google Play, I'm sure they're there. But yeah, you can buy the seasons, and typically those are packaged in volumes. So we've already had like volumes 1 through 4, so maybe these were 5 and 6.
And you can still watch DuckTales, of course, on Disney XD because they have reruns all throughout the day.
Yeah, and Disney's Schedules Archives, you can search for that over on Twitter. They post those schedules all the time, so you can keep up with when DuckTales is going to be available. It's an account that we follow. So yeah, you can definitely catch episodes on Disney XD, and I'm sure it also airs on the Disney Channel as well.
Yeah, I believe they do still air reruns on the Disney Channel, but I don't think they air reruns as often because Disney Channel caters more towards the live action shows compared to Disney XD, which is mostly animation.
Yeah, they show DuckTales is on XD a lot. I've seen on those diagrams, those schedules that Archives puts out. Very cool. So you can check those out. And man, there was one more thing. Oh, I was going to tell you, in preparation for this, I had a little bit of a moment when I realized these episodes had been pulled, the episodes that we would be reviewing, And thankfully, at one point early in season 2, because I have almost all of season 2 on my DVR, my cable subscription, which is actually a streaming subscription through my cable service, allows me to DVR, and a portion of my hard drive space is dedicated to DuckTales, and those episodes were sitting there and waiting on me. I can even fast forward through the commercials.
And that's the great thing about DVR.
Right. So, crisis averted. DuckTalks can continue, or at least I can contribute some to the conversation, because it would continue without me. Moving on, we've got other news items to cover. Important Disney Afternooniverse November dates. We're going to take a look at some releases in Duck merch and other things. So first of all, because this is a new month, we want to make sure we cover these just in case you haven't seen Pirate's blog. On November 5th, you can find Where's Donald? It is a look and find book. I did a review over on DuckTalks.com. That's our website. I haven't plugged that yet. And it was a fun book. Me and the girls have had a lot of fun with it. We have a review planned. We haven't been able to record it. They're looking forward to it. Paisley in particular has really enjoyed this book. I recommend it if you have a child. And even if you don't have a child, there's enough little Easter eggs in here if you're a Donald Duck comic nerd, that it's a lot of fun to catch some of the stuff that's maybe not just out in the open for everybody to see.
Yeah, spoiler. There's one section you're looking for Donald, and it's hundreds of Duck Avenger versions of Donald, and you got to find the Donald that's in regular clothing. And I feel like that one I had the hardest problem finding, but it's just cool to see a whole page devoted to the Duck Avenger.
And for anyone who's been reading IDW's reprints of the Italian Uncle Scrooge comics, there's a lot of characters and scenes from those comics in this book. As a matter of fact, I think when I checked the artists, some of the artists have worked on those comics.
One question. Mm-hmm. Does Scrooge appear in the Where's Donald book?
Yes, a lot.
Oh my gosh, then I need to get it, because Scrooge is my favorite character.
and it's the Italian money bin, so it's the blue with the red top and the gold dollar sign.
Cool.
Yeah. Beagle Boys.
Yeah, they make it so that because you can find Donald in all the different searches, but they also say, okay, now find Scrooge, find Huey, Dewey, and Louie and stuff. So their characters are on multiple pages.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked about it is when you first open the book, you get a listing of characters that you should see pretty much in every scene. And then you get, in the back of the book, you get the additional finds. And these are the characters that are maybe a little more obscure and not everyone would know. So it was really cool. I enjoyed it. We've talked a lot about that little book.
I will definitely have to pick that one up.
On 11... Oh, wait. That's tomorrow, guys. That's tomorrow. So that book is already out. You can pick it up. It came out on 11/5. Today it's 11/4. You're probably listening to this on like 11/8. And that's all very relevant because on 11/5, do you guys know what significant date November 5th is?
Remember the 5th of November?
November 5th.
Yeah, well, that's what I just said. That was significant.
Yeah, it's significant because it was the day time travel was created in 1955 by Doc Brown. Oh, yeah, it is right. I said it right, but...
Good job, Mitch.
That was Back to the Future. Yeah, anyway.
November 5th, 1955. Is it 55?
Great, Scott. Yeah, it was 1955.
Yeah.
Yeah. He slipped while hanging a clock, hit his head on the toilet. Anyway.
I remember that.
Also, November 5th is significant for V for Vendetta.
Oh.
Never mind.
I don't know that one. I know there was a movie and a comic, right?
Yeah.
Now,
but on November 6th...
Go ahead, Pirate.
November 6th is the final issue of the Silence and Science DuckTales comic episodes, which it's just the common theme. You don't have to get 1, 2, 3 in any order. But I've read it and I found it was a very fun episode. I say episode because this DuckTales comic, which is based on the 2017 designs, is kind of like get in bonus episodes because obviously we're in a hiatus and it's cool to expand our DuckTales fandom and knowledge and seeing what these characters are doing when they're not on our TVs. So as always, we recommend the DuckTales comic out there. It's really fun, and this issue is really cool because it is Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Launchpad go to a science fiction convention, and things don't go as planned. So it's very, very fun issue, and I like this one especially because there's some parts in it where Launchpad references Darkwing Duck, and I believe that's the first time we've gotten that from these comics.
I believe so. The art in these comics, it just blows me away. It's so spot on model, and yet it's more expressive. I love it. I don't know why someone wouldn't be reading these.
I love the comics too. I'm a little behind though. I still need to order that issue that you were just talking about. Was it part 3?
Yes, it comes out tomorrow or on Wednesday.
My local comic store does not carry them in store, so I have to order them from her, from the person who runs it.
And part 2 only came out, I believe, 2 weeks ago. So this is kind of like I'm sure there was some kind of delay in them, and now they're playing catch up. But yeah, after this one, I believe in December, we're getting the next 3-part series of comics.
Fairs and Scares.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that comes out in December. If you've not let your local comic shop know, it'd be a good time to let them know you're looking for that book in December.
I will definitely let them know.
Let's see. Following that, as it refreshes, of course, November 12th is the big day in media as everyone across the nation and around the world prepares for the release of Disney+. So many great shows, so much new content, and so much classic content will be available to everyone who's subscribed. And check out our blogs over at DuckTalks.com to learn more about subscribing. They've been giving away deals. I know the credit card holders got a really good deal, and something else I saw had a really good deal. Look around online. You can find some good deals. You might already have a connection to Disney that allows you to get a better price than the, I think it's $6.99 per month, or you can do $69.99 if you do the year. And if you have some affiliation that allows you to get the discount, you can save even more.
Yeah, we're really hoping everybody watches Legend of Three Caballeros so we can get a sequel going, a sequel season.
It's needed. Most definitely. Everyone that worked on that show had to be passionate about it. I know I've heard some interviews with Tony Anselmo, and he just really enjoyed this version of Donald. So,
I really want to start my journey with Disney Plus with that, but I feel like I'm going to be overwhelmed, and I've been thinking about that day and this moment for so long that I don't know where I'm going to start. I did because we're an Amazon Fire Stick household, so I had to buy a Roku this week because I'm not going to miss anything. Because on Amazon, Disney probably work it out eventually, but I'm not going to miss a second of it. So I bought a Roku that they were on sale, I guess, this week. And I'm excited to start the Disney Plus journey because it's going to be a mind-blowing change to media distribution out there. And I feel bad for Netflix.
I'm actually curious how Disney Plus is going to affect the release of season 3 whenever it gets announced, because will they still air new episodes, or will it just be on Disney Plus, or will they do both?
So I think season 3 will air on the Disney Channel first.
That's good.
I think we'll probably get the full season on. We'll see the full season air before it ends up on the streaming service. I think original content for Disney Plus will go there immediately, obviously, but I think their programming on their channel, I'm expecting, them to continue on the channel before they move over. Hopefully season 2 will be on Disney Plus pretty soon, though. Considering they pulled it from DisneyNow, I'm starting to expect it, but not on launch.
That is very good to hear about season 3.
And that's just my speculation based on what they've been talking about with other shows and everything. And like it looks like original content will get a weekly release, whereas all of your content that's already been created has already aired. Like when DuckTales season 1 shows up, you'll be able to watch all of season 1 all at once. Whereas the original, The Mandalorian is going to be weekly, and then the Clone Wars will be weekly. So there'll be a little bit of difference between original content. And Three Cabs is not being considered original content for the streaming service because it has premiered in the Philippines and also in one other market. So it's not being labeled original content like some of the other shows are. Which means it will all be available at once. We don't have to wait for a weekly rollout. But if you were going to do a Legend of the Three Caballeros podcast, you got to deal with the episode bomb. All right, moving on. On November 13th, Uncle Scrooge number 50 by IDW will be released. It's kind of a monumental point for this comic. This is actually issue 454 of Uncle Scrooge comics. Of course, that's among various publishers, but this is IDW's issue 50. They've been talking it up a little bit, so check that out. November 14th, we have the Rescue Rangers I Love Gaming pin. Will be released at the Disneyland Resort. Does this mean it won't show up on the eastern side?
Correct. Yeah, they've been doing, and I've been following the iHeart Gaming pin releases, and they've been doing, Disney World will get a release 1 month, and then Disneyland gets the release the next month, and just bi-monthly release exclusives.
Ouch.
So it's been hard to keep up with, but only have 2 more months to get over this. And so this month is Disneyland Rescue Rangers, and next month is going to be a really cool one. It's going to be Walt Disney World, and it's going to be gummy bears related.
Ooh, okay. That about makes up for it. That'd be a cool pin. Now, is it a video game? Like it's the I Love.
It's the old LED or LCD handheld games that came out before people bought Game Boys. So
was there a Gummy Bears game?
I don't know if there. I Googled and searched for a lot of them because I wanted to see if they were actual handhelds, and they were. I mean, people bought them. I mean, you couldn't do. This is like buying the game. You bought the whole system. So yeah, there was a Darkwing Duck one, a DuckTales, Tailspin, all this stuff. So very, very cool series, and I've been buying all the Disney Afternoon ones, and I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah, this is only 2,500 of these are being made. Impressive. And then on November 26th, possibly, we may see that Young Donald Duck comic book released.
People are obsessed with that, and I hope it reaches everybody's high expectations.
November 26th, that's my birthday.
There you go.
Well, there you go. Now you know what to ask for.
Yeah, make sure your comic book store
I think
knows.
it's a one-shot, though, right? Or it's not like a series. It's coming out just like a one-shot thing that they're doing.
I feel like it's a trade paperback.
Yeah, I think it's a trade. I think this has already, I wanted to say aired. I think this has already been released in other markets, and it's what IDW does. They're now releasing it here. So that's it for the dates, other than we've got a convention announcement. This actually came via Aaron Sparrow, and the convention is ToonCon over in Pasadena at the Pasadena Convention Center. There's going to be a Darkwing Duck reunion panel. Jim Cummings and Terry McGovern will be there on stage with Mike Bell and Tad Stones, and it'll be moderated by Aaron Sparrow. I mean, That's almost worth me flying out to California, honestly. That's just like the perfect combination of people.
Yeah, that's like Disney afternoon royalty there.
Josh, you going to get by there?
Well, I'm going to try. That's next week. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I guess we should have said, I didn't say the date, did I? November 10th. So that's
this
Sunday,
weekend. It's this weekend.
It's Sunday, November 10th. So yeah,
oh my
drop everything. Man, that would be one to attend. I don't know what the Pasadena Convention Center, what this ToonCon is like. Never been out there. Have you ever been to it?
No, I've not been to that one. I know there's a few different little Comic Cons and a big Comic Con down in San Diego, but I've never been to this one, and I'm kind of curious about it. And maybe I'll try and see if I can head over there and sneak in or something.
All right, and we have one other item. We have blogged about this also this past, I guess it wasn't this week, it was last week. There is a Disney Plus game show coming to Disney Plus, and it will be for Disney fans, Star Wars fans, Pixar fans, Marvel fans. I could have said all that without saying fans that many times, but I didn't. And so we actually had someone involved in the casting reach out to us and wanted us to let other DuckTales and Darkwing Duck fans know that they're specifically looking for people who are fans to come on this quiz show. So there is a casting call for families of 4. Pirate, you want to give it any more information about this?
No, it really sounds like some kind of like Family Feud type atmosphere. At least that's what it sounded like. But as a blog out there, we'll link it. And it has an application, and it's nationwide applying for this thing. So I would definitely, if you think your family knows their Disney stuff, definitely sign up and try out. You never know what can happen unless you give it a try. And let us know if you get picked, because we want to root for your family to be successful in this. So very cool. Another fine product from Disney Plus, and definitely apply that. What was the other thing I was going to say about this? Is Babylon, so I can think about it.
Were you going to say that they're specifically looking for families of 4? They do not have to all be blood related, so it can be extended family, and also it can any children have to be 8 or older. That was specific to the casting call.
Yeah. So if you reach those requirements, definitely apply. We're gonna get, hopefully Mitch and Josh are gonna reply. But we are gonna try to have the producer, one of the producers of the show, since they reached out to us, to return the favor and be on our show. And hopefully they are going to do a Disney afternoon type quiz show with Mitch, Josh, and I as contestants to see who knows their Disney afternoon stuff.
Ooh. Okay,
so
that's
start studying now. I mean, we got to watch Disney Plus.
I was about to say, we got to have Disney Plus on first.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just reading all the wikis. All right, well, I think that's all the news that we have, and merchandise. Lots of great stuff out there. And we're going to take a look at this episode, GlomTales. We're going to start off with GlomTales. And I've got the generator set with 4 of us. Are we picking our normal numbers? Am I 1, Josh is 3, and Pirates 2?
Sure.
I'm number 3.
You're number 3? All right, and so Lisa, you will be number 4. Are you ready?
All right, ready.
All right, here we go. And there's
like
the click. It's a number 1.
Graphic sound. It sound like a spin wheel or something.
Do you not listen to the finished podcast? Oh yeah, I guess I could do something like that, couldn't I? Wait.
I do some. Yes, I do. Yeah, I listen to it sometimes.
Well, I've put a clock ticking noise in there now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's me. It's me, and let me pull up my timer, because the trick to this, Lisa, if you get picked later, is that you have to use your timer to keep up with where you're at. It helps. Otherwise, you ramble for 3 minutes like some friends that we have. Okay, so all right, here we go. GlomTales. Let me channel GlomTales. Here we go. So Louie is in trouble after the last episode of DuckTales. He's stuck at home while everybody else goes out to some hobo place. Don't know what that's about. They have fun. And meanwhile, Glomgold's recruiting a family so that he can finally beat Scrooge and become the richest duck in the world. He does recruit all of his family. It's a lot of fun, but ends up he needs Louie. Louie ends up helping him. He becomes the richest duck in the world on a technicality, and Scrooge loses. I am under 30 seconds.
Dang.
Nailed it.
This episode was written by Colleen Evanson. It was directed by Tanner Johnson. Storyboards were by Vince Aparo, Emmy Cicerega, and Ben Holm. This episode was a lot of fun. If you're into villains, and I know Pirate is into villains, it was a lot of fun seeing this group come together and then also seeing where Louie's story went. We're going to talk about Louie's story here in just a moment. But what did you guys think about the introduction of all these villains coming back and coming together?
I like how we got the GlomTales intro that we saw at San Diego Comic-Con. I thought that was a cool way to put in this, and I thought it was hysterical how how Flintheart Glomgold went about thinking the way he's going to combat Scrooge is by creating his own family of villains. And Catherine Tate as Magica in this one has some hysterical lines as she works at a birthday party at Funzo's. And yeah, I loved it. We get some Don Carnage in there as well.
Love me some Don Carnage.
It was kind of interesting because, like, I know there are other, I guess, I'm trying to think back in the original DuckTales if the villains all got together and attacked Scrooge or not. I know, like, for like Darkwing Duck, we had the Fearsome Five where the villains all like got together to go after Darkwing Duck. But this is kind of different in the sense that we haven't seen all of them, like Glomgold, Magica, and Don Carnage, and Mark Beeks, and the Beagle Boys. We hadn't seen them all kind of gang together and try to go after Scrooge before. And I thought that they had an interesting dynamic because they all had their own, their own reasons for wanting to go after them, and then those reasons kind of tore them apart. And I thought it was kind of ironic how they're like, oh, we're going to be united, we're going to defeat them, but then them not being united is what caused them to fail.
I like when Glomgold realizes he needs to get a Webby. He's like, oh, I forgot to get a Webby.
Yeah, that was a good part.
And they pointed it out to him. I think it was like Bouncer or one of the Beagles that pointed out, wait,
yes,
who are you covering up with your thumb? and he doesn't want to he doesn't want to add anybody else to his team, which, I mean, it kind of makes me think back to, all of the people, who have gone on about the old school Webby in the past. Let's not remember old school Webby. But we got a much cooler Webby now, a lot better character, a lot more developed. And I really like how how Beaks is like, you know who we should go get? And he's like, no, not at all. And the whole time, at least as we know looking at it, because we've been watching the promos and picking everything apart over the last few months, we knew who it was going to be, but it was funny seeing that interaction go on. And then they're like, fine, let's go get Magica to spell.
And the other thing they did to us in this episode, too, is when they were putting the promos for it, they were showing green face Magica. And I guess Frank explained that as what was sent back to him was the green one. They had to get it altered and do the other the white feather Magica. So I thought that was interesting because we all were like, wait a minute, is she going to get her powers back? What's going on here?
I thought it was funny that Magica kind of had that side job at Funzo's, and Glomgold was like in charge of going to recruit him, and he was like, "Oh, let's go to Scrooge," really quietly because he didn't really want Magica. and but she was like instantly like, oh yeah, I want my revenge, and then I want revenge on these kids.
What I liked was the running gag with Magica to Spell, how when Louis first sees the villain group, he's like, oh no, it's Magica. And then later on, when Scrooge sees the villains, of course, he's like, Magica's grand revenge. And Glomgold's like, I'm standing right here.
And someone else says Scrooge's greatest nemesis, and he's like, wait, I'm right. Wait, it's me. Yeah, it's a great running gag. It's one of the better parts of the one of the better jokes for sure. What did you all think about the fact that everyone kind of paired up as a reflection of someone in McDuck's family? Do you think there was at some point in the writing process that someone noticed that and it became a driving factor for the episode, or do you think that was planned way ahead of time? Like, even when they were like, why do we have Don Carnage? And they're like, we need a pilot. Well,
it's funny that it came out. A classic line from this episode was when Mark Beeks was fighting Launchpad. He's like, I was supposed to be fighting Gyro.
That part.
Oh, so many great moments in this. With
cracks me up every time. Yeah,
So
this is definitely my top 5 episodes of the season.
I did feel sorry for Scrooge, however, when he thought Louis had betrayed him.
Yeah, and what did everyone think about that moment? Like, when it was happening, did you think Louis had really turned? For a moment, I did. I really bought it.
I had no idea. I was thinking that he might have, because considering the previous episode, Typhoon, where he did, he messed up time and all that, and then he was grounded, and then I was not really sure what to believe, but I did feel bad for Scrooge.
Glomgold wins the bet. Bless me bagpipes.
And that was the saddest Bless Me Bagpipes I've ever heard.
It's true.
Well, it kind of like the whole build-up of the season was the Louis arc season, and his goal was to be the richest duck in the world, and that's how it ended. So I feel like that, at least that part of the story leading up to the third to last episode of the season, was planned out perfectly.
There really was a lot of payoff to Louis' story. I mean, at one point we were like, is that even still happening? Did they forget they were doing that? As well as the wager. But it all fits together nicely when you look at the overall. And Frank has explained this somewhat over on Tumblr as well about the fact that the show's syndicated and all the episodes have to be able to air at any time out of order. That they have to be able to do that while also trying to tell a story that goes throughout the season. And it's a tight, it's a line they have to walk. So I think they did a pretty good job with it, looking at the whole season. I wanted to say as a whole, and that was going to be redundant, and I couldn't not say it. I hate myself. And I like how, and Frank told us, these last few episodes were all going to be leading into one another and building upon the story. And so it really does lead into the next episode. And I think, I agree. I don't know where I would rank it yet, but GlomTales is high up there on my list. I do want to make a couple of Beagle. I want to point out some Beagle things that took place, because I think everyone's picked up. I'm a Beagle fan. So I love the scene where they go to meet Mark Beeks, and Mark Beeks is talking about his Bitcoin, and they're like, wait a minute, how much? Where is it? And he says, it's in the cloud. And Bouncer picks up Burger and throws him out the window. I loved that moment. That was one of my favorite gags. And then also, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but when they're at Funzo's, and they're all kind of in their disguises, which are great, by the way. Mark Beek's shirt says he's a 10-year-old. But Burger Beagle is in the background, and he's eating the entire time in that scene. And it's hilarious if you're a fan of the original show, because of his namesake.
I like how big time goes. Our family really is awesome.
That was probably a reference to the pilot episode when Dewey says something like that when they're pulling Scrooge up into the plane.
Yep. So great episode. You guys want to try to cover the next one in just a few minutes?
Yeah, I think we can.
All right, I'm gonna hit the generator, and then we will get into the richest duck. So that episode definitely leads into the next episode, which was titled "The Richest Duck in the World." And I'm not kidding. The generator just pulled a 1 again. Can I hit it again?
No, I don't think you can. I mean, the generator picked you for a reason.
All right. All right, here I go. If I can think where this episode begins.
Starts off where...
Oh, sorry, I just hit the button.
Oh, okay. I was trying to give you a...
Louis the richest duck in the world. All right, I got it.
He's the richest duck in the world, yeah.
Louis Duck is the richest duck in the world. He thinks he's got it covered. Scrooge realizes he's in over his head, and he decides to take a break. Louis starts meddling around in the company and turns off some magic in an island that he didn't understand, and he releases Bombi the zombie. And he goes to the island to find out what's up, and Bombi's out after him. Scrooge realizes he doesn't want to be on vacation. He decides he's going to make some more money. He ends up running into Bombi. They all learn a lesson that you have to... I don't know what the lesson was. The lesson was that money's not everything. I went over 30.
I think I know what the lesson is, but we'll get back to that.
Oh, well, go ahead. Jump right into that. Oh, no, actually, we will cover who worked on the episode first, because otherwise we'll forget it, and I'll have to cut it in later. All right, so this episode that has never happened before, by the way. This episode was written by Madison Bateman, although we had no singing and dancing. Directed by Matthew Humphreys. Storyboards by Stephanie Gonzaga, Von Tada, and Brandon Warren. Now, what was the message?
What's the message? Okay, so we're going to be skipping forward a little bit into the episode, but we noticed that they were being chased by Bombi. Anything they were doing didn't stop him whatsoever. And they got to the point where they were like, oh, give me back the title. And Louis decides that, hey, let me clean Bombi's shoes, as in like how Scrooge did, where he used to clean shoes to get and he got his number 1 dime. And so for me, I took it as that even though he's the richest duck in the world, he's able to humble himself to doing the lowest, dirtiest job, not really to make a buck, but he's willing to put in the hard work and really to humble himself, even though he is like the top duck in the world. Does that make sense? So yes. I think it's a sense of humility is what the lesson was learned.
I think I agree with that.
I don't know if that's the thing, but that's my takeaway from it.
Yeah, that's definitely what I took away from it as well. I think because the whole episode, he was just like, now it's me time. It's time to get to what I want to do. This is my fortune, and he's spending money on an Ottoman, which brings back in the Ottoman Empire. We're thankful for that. But he, just blows a lot of money on an Ottoman that does save his life. Maybe there's a lesson there too, but it's all about him. And then he realizes that. Do you think he realized it would break the curse, or do you think it was just his lesson that he learned?
I don't know, because
I think it was Zan Alson. He mentioned that Zan Alson had said something about being humble, and I think that was what gave him the idea.
I agree. I had forgotten about that. You're right.
And when you're like the richest person, you're not going to be humble. You're going to be like Louis. I can buy whatever I want. I can spin this, or I can do that. And it's definitely not the lesson that was portrayed in the episode.
That's why I really enjoyed Scrooge's reaction there when he first found out that the answer to Bombi's riddle was humility and being humble. Scrooge, he said, shoot, I forgot what he said.
Well,
Does he have a riddle?
Yeah,
Does
there was.
Bombi-
Yeah, there was a riddle. At one point, when Louis realizes it and says it, that's when Scrooge comes running out of that vehicle, saying that was ridiculous. So you're exactly right.
Yeah,
Scrooge didn't get it.
What was the riddle?
It was a rhyme.
Actually, that's one of my favorite moments of the episode. In the very beginning of the episode, they show Scrooge having a business deal with someone named Mr. Z. And he sells him this element, this rare element that makes things invisible. And that is how he became the richest duck in the world, through that business deal. And he became so happy after that, and that he did a little song and dance, and that was my favorite part.
Do we have a deal?
Absolutely. I'll take the entire mine. This deal will make you a very rich man, Mr. McDuck.
No, Mr. Z. This deal officially makes me the richest duck in the world! I'm glad you're so happy for me.
I'm no longer the richest person in the world! The curse is over!
Sorry, what's this about a curse?
The curse that follows the richest person on Earth. He cannot be bought. He cannot be fought. Though riches you've got, your life will be fraught until you have earned the one thing you have not.
Who is he?
The Bombi.
Yeah, and Zan Alson definitely was a big player in this episode as well. And I think this leads into kind of where we're going to see her in season 3 based on some things that Frank has said online. Because she quits. She's like, I'm done with all of you all. Not just Louis, but everyone.
And then she says that she will stay on to train her replacement.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that may introduce a new character. May introduce a familiar character. I may have a little theory there.
I remember Frank saying that Zan Alson will be in a surprising role in season. But
you think she could be training a certain duck who was revealed on the poster? And I'm alluding to Daisy, since I couldn't think of anything obvious.
Oh.
I could see that being a way to introduce her character.
Huey, it's also supposed to be Huey's arc, so I'm kind of wondering if maybe Huey will have like maybe a junior woodchuck badge that he needs to earn about business or something.
So Bombi was inspired by a classic comic book character that has interacted with Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge. And it's kind of a controversial character, and the character, the story, the background is different because it's one of Scrooge McDuck's darker moments. What'd you guys think about this version of Bombi?
I loved it. I liked the way they handled it, and I think the way they toned it down for the show was just brilliant. And actually, when they first revealed the description for the episode and it said unstoppable monster, my first thought was the Bombi, because, that's definitely got to be the Bombi. And my prediction came true.
Yeah, I think you're the only person that I heard with that prediction. I remember you put that in the Discord because it never even crossed my mind that they would have Bombi in this show because it's that controversial of a character. I don't know if it was at the time, but it has become one within the fandom over the years. So I loved this version. I thought it was great. I liked how, even though it's not exactly the same as Scrooge's history with the character, you still get a sense with the fact that he still didn't get it. Even when Louis got it, Scrooge didn't get the riddle or the moral that he was supposed to learn as the richest duck until Louis taught it to him. But I like that it's still a dark moment for him.
That's what I find really fascinating, is that all this time Scrooge never found out the riddle, but he did. I mean, he managed a way to keep the Bombi contained with the magic defense, which is foreshadowed early in season 1 with the Great Dime Chase, where the vultures are talking to Scrooge and they say, that he spent $15 million on magical defense. Now we finally know what he spent the money on.
And spoiler alert for the season finale. And I'm not going to really jump into the spoiler territory for it, but a little bit. We know from those earlier episodes that they wanted to remove... Well, Bradford's the one that suggests to Louis that they remove the funding to this magical island, right? So what was he trying to accomplish? Why was it? Because he tries to do it at the very, in Great Dime Chase too.
I can see them wanting to kill Scrooge, but I don't know why they would go after a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they just wanted Louis's money.
Yeah. We'll find out in the next season. I think it's very interesting that he was trying to that this was part of his plan. It had to be. So I expect that to come back up. I expect this episode to be more important to season 3 than we might expect.
I think there's a reason, and I don't know if do we want to spoil it for? I think there's in the next episode.
Well, we've already given a spoiler warning. So here's your final chance. Hit that. I think on podcast on Apple Podcasts, it gives you a 30-second fast forward button. Hit that 30-second fast forward button. Go.
Okay, for the next episode that we haven't reviewed yet, we find out that these guys are part of Fowl, and I think part of it was their goal is to destroy the McDuck family. So they either think one that releasing it would destroy the McDuck family, or two, they have a plan for not necessarily Bombi, but for that island that maybe that's where Fowl's going to be stationed, or something to do with Fowl really wanting this to happen, because I think in season 3 we're going to find out exactly why, but for some reason they wanted the magical thing down, and I think it's something to do with some kind of plan to destroy the McDuck family.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to the richest duck in the world, I do want to say that one of my favorite scenes was in the beginning when Louis was first trying to explain to Scrooge how he wanted to take all the money for himself. And he mentioned something which was revealed at the end of The Most Dangerous Game Night, when Scrooge had told Louis that one day he would become a better billionaire than him, or something like that. And so Louis is really nervous about saying that he wants the money. So he's like, so Scrooge says, "What are you trying to say, lad?" And then Louis says, "I'm taking it all so I can be the richest duck in the world." And then Scrooge just laughs hysterically. I love that.
Uncle Scrooge, hi, thanks for coming.
To breakfast?
So, do you remember that bet that you made with Glomgold where the winner won the loser's fortune, and technically I won both your fortunes so that I could give it back to you?
It was yesterday.
You said I'd be a bigger billionaire than you are one day, and, well, today is a day, and...
What are you trying to say, lad?
I'm keeping it all so I can be the richest duck in the world!
You are going to be the richest duck in the world!
Yes?
Oh, sure. It's just a complex international conglomeration. You love hard work. Have fun. I'll be here when you're ready to give my fortune back.
It's a great moment.
Yeah. And then like, I really liked of Scrooge's actions for the rest of the episode. Like, he goes back to shoe shining and tries to rebuild his fortune, and then he realizes that no one really wears shoes nowadays.
Yeah, that was also a very funny moment in this episode. When he's like, why is this harder to do than I remember? And he looks around and everybody's walking around barefoot.
Yeah. And then what's interesting is that the Bigfoot appears. Yeah.
Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin. I couldn't remember his name.
It just came to me. I don't know how I pulled that off, but yeah, Gavin.
So Scrooge was shining his shoes. Yeah.
And he'd stolen the suit. So, and just like the previous couple of episodes, this episode definitely leads into the final moments, because we also had a B story in this episode that included Della trying to reach Penny on the moon and get a message to her, and she has this realization. We get Dewey tonight again, but she has this realization that maybe Penny wasn't her friend, and she starts to look at the situation from a new perspective, only to get a transmission at the end of the episode letting her know that one of the mistakes that Louis had made, which was crashing all the satellites, because Scrooge had said hopefully that was the worst thing you did, but we find out it wasn't, because he crashed all the satellites trying to take out Bombi, and those defense satellites now made it to where Lunaris and the Moonlanders could invade Earth. So leads right into the season 2 finale, Moonvasion.
One last thing that I wanted to say is that getting back to that lesson about humility, I was really surprised that Scrooge had not learned that lesson, and it just he said it was sentimental hogwash was, I believe, his words. Something like that. and then the Bombi, he kind of growled at him, and he was like, fair point. and then you notice how in this episode, whenever the curse goes from person to person, there's like this red ring around whoever is affected by the curse. And when Louis was shining the shoes, he said that Scrooge could get his fortune back. Then the ring was transferred to Scrooge because he was the richest duck in the world again. And then Scrooge said that that Louis was a better billionaire than he was today, and so he was humble in that moment. And it looked like the curse had lifted from Scrooge and both of them. So Bombi just walks away. I did my only gripe about that was that I felt that because Scrooge has so much pride that he needed more humility, and like I felt like, I don't know, like he could have had a lot more character development.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get that in season 3.
Yeah, I think it'll come with this moment. You do see that ring kind of dissipate around Scrooge to indicate that the curse has been lifted, and I think it's interesting that he did go all those years as the richest duck and never figured out how to deal with this. So we're seeing some character development for Scrooge, which we maybe haven't seen a whole lot of that this season. And leading into Moonvasion, I think it was very important.
That was my main gripe, was that the lack of Scrooge. I feel like he should have had just a little bit more spotlight than he received. But I understood that because this was the end of Louis' arc, and they ended it really well. They ended it spectacularly, and I do hope that we get to see more of Scrooge dealing with his character flaws, like possibly humility, and I hope we get to see more of that in season 3.
I think it's coming. I think we've got a great season ahead of us. Hopefully we get an announcement for season 4 sometime in the near future. I think we got a lot of great stuff coming up in season 3 and possibly other things. I know last episode of DuckTalks kind of spent some time on a conspiracy theory of mine, thinking that possibly the crew there may already be some people in the crew working on another Disney Afternoon spinoff. But then I saw this response from Frank, and he's either throwing me off the trail or I'm way off, because he was asked, are we going to see more of Jim Starling? And Frank's response was, we have a long-term plan for Negaduck / Jim Starling, if Disney lets us do it. I love that character, something fierce. And we know that Frank is a huge fan of Negaduck. I think it was his last appearance on It's a Duck Blur, where he said that Negaduck was the greatest villain of all time in literature. And so we know he's a huge fan of the character. He loves that Jim voiced the character. And it's interesting that he says we have a long-term plan if Disney lets us do it. So, I can't imagine a long-term plan would be season 3 of DuckTales. Maybe it's in season 4. Maybe it's in another show. it still does kind of feed my conspiracy theory. But at the same time, for me, my initial reaction was, well, maybe I'm a little off here. Maybe they do have more planned for DuckTales as opposed to other shows. So that's going to do it for us this week. We've got lots of stuff coming up. We're, of course, going to be looking at the Season 2 finale in our next episode of DuckTalks. And, we'll finish out these. And then we've got, of course, Disney Plus coming. We've still got comics. We've got books. Should be hearing about an action figure sometime soon. And lots of stuff for us to be talking about in the coming weeks. But let's end this episode. Before we do, Lisa, thank you again for joining us on the podcast. We hope it was fun.
It was. Thank you so much for having me. I'd like to join in the future.
Well, yeah, we like to bring others on at different times, and we've got some stuff we might do in the future, and we'll reach out to you. Some ideas that we've had, and I really want to thank you for your participation in our Discord. I know here lately I've not been in there as often as I would like, but I love that whenever I jump in there and I see all the conversations going on about DuckTales and everybody just enjoying each other's company. And not long ago, I had some messages from people just thanking me that it's a safe place to go. That and so I think that's cool that there's a group that's found it to be a place where they can go and just kind of nerd out about DuckTales. So thanks for being part of that.
The Discord is great. It's a lot of fun, and I'm just very passionate about DuckTales and the fandom in general. And also on the subject of Discord, I'm an admin of r/DuckTales. Oh, cool. So if anyone knows about DuckTales and the DuckTales Reddit, there is a Discord server. And I am one of the admins there. So feel free to join that Discord server as well.
Very cool. I've actually been on that server. I don't use it as often as Twitter, but it is another place that I go when I'm looking to see what other people are talking about.
And thanks again for having me on.
Well, where can you mentioned the Reddit. Is there anywhere else that you like to let people know where they can follow you? I know you've been involved in podcasts in the past, and you might have some things going on that you'd like to share. Anything like that?
People can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @AshFangirlLisa. And on Discord, my username is also AshFangirlLisa. I don't have the Discord numbers memorized, but if anyone wants to add me on Discord, you can send me a message on Twitter.
Cool. Yeah, and we share the Discord link to the DuckTalks channel all the time with our posts, and especially with our podcast episodes, so they can follow that link to get in there, and they'll find you in there and can message you over there or on Twitter, whatever works for them. So my name's Mitch. You can find me on Twitter @Infinirama616. Pirate had to drop off here at the end, so you can find him on Twitter @ThePirateSteven.
And you can find me at CCRunner524.
That was Josh, by the way. And you can follow us at DuckTalks. And don't forget, check out DuckTalks.com for up-to-date blogs about merchandise and releases and news. And we're about to get into that speculative season where we start talking about when is Season 3 coming. We'll be looking for hints, although all the hints we have so far are that it's going to be a long time. So Disney Plus is coming, y'all. And with that, we'll end it. Until next time, stay Glom Golden. Good night, guys.
If you can dream it, you can do it. Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
DuckTalks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders.